All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive.
Excited to be here.
Today, we are looking at a piece of French poetry titled Il y avait.
Which means?
There was.
Ah, okay.
And I think people might be surprised that we're doing a whole deep dive on a poem that is only 3 stanzas long.
Yeah, it's a short one.
It is, but it's like this little concentrated dose of emotion.
I like that.
So to really understand it, I think it's important for us to first hear it in the original French.
Okay.
So I'm going to read that, and then we'll jump into the English translation.
Sounds good.
Reads the poem in French. All right, so there's a lot there. Even if you don't speak French, I think you can kind of get a feel for the tone of the poem. But let's look at the English translation.
Okay.
There was. I had nothing to say. I had nothing to do. I had no friend. I had no love. There was nothing. There was only a small light far away.
Wow.
I get chills every time,
Yeah.
just like even reading it. So one of the things that stands out to me right away is the repetition
Yes.
of je n'avais, which means I had nothing. It's like driving home that feeling of emptiness.
Yeah.
But then we get this shift
Yes.
where it says, there was
Right.
only a small light far away, which there was is il y avait.
Right.
So it's like the same construction. What do you think about that?
Well, it's interesting because it's taking that same construction that was used to describe the lack.
Yes.
I had nothing. I had nothing. It's taking that same construction and applying it to this small light.
Right.
So it's almost like even in the void, even in the nothingness, there is this one thing.
Right. And then, of course, we can't ignore the part in parentheses.
Yes, I had no friend. I had no love.
It feels like the speaker's almost hesitant to even say it.
It does. And it's
Yeah.
interesting because we already have that emptiness established.
Right.
And yet it almost feels like the speaker is shying away from fully acknowledging that they are alone.
Yeah, it's like a deeper level of vulnerability than the rest of the poem. So we have this overwhelming emptiness, but then there's this glimmer of light.
Right.
Do you think this is ultimately a poem about despair? Or is there something more there?
I mean, I think that's what makes this poem so powerful.
Yeah.
It doesn't give us an answer.
Right.
It could be hope. It could be a reminder of what the speaker lacks.
Right.
It's up to the reader to decide.
What does it mean to you?
Well, for me, it's more about hope.
Okay.
It's like even when things are really, really dark, there's still something out there.
Yeah.
Something to reach for. And that can be enough.
It's so powerful that like 3 little stanzas can pack such a punch.
It really is.
So we saw the repetition, we saw that parenthetical phrase,
Yeah.
we saw how it shifted from despair to something else,
Maybe hope. Maybe not.
and I think that's kind of the point. So on that note, I'll leave you all with the final thought.
Oh.
If you were the one experiencing this light in the distance, what would you do? Would you try to reach it, or would you just stay where you are?
It's something to think about.
Until next time.
See you then.